All right, so why were you put on this earth? This is one of those late night talks. I'm on just my walk, and I was thinking about this point, so figured might as well, why not share it, because I can see many people are asking the same questions. Why was I put on this earth, and what is my role, right? What is my purpose? And I never speak from the point of whether I'm right or wrong. I always speak from the point of what makes sense to me, what has made sense to me, and what has helped me have the most impact, in the past few years that I've come to these understandings. And I didn't come to them by myself. I've had support of mentors and very key people in my life that I'm very grateful for. The support of my mom, obviously, and through going different phases of my life. But I'll answer it how I see made sense to me. Obviously, in terms of what is my role, I see that as I have this gift where I can help others see their gifts, and I can help others see their pain, their fears, what's stopping them, and how to move past their fears to unlock their true potential. And I've done that over and over with those who have been teachable enough to change. By teachable, I mean not just wanting to learn, but people who actually apply stuff and see the change for themselves. But that's why I see my role as is support people on a global scale, realize who they are. Now, why is that important, and what does that have to do with your role? Long story short, the way I see it is, right now we live in a system that is very abusive, from the education system, how it's designed, all the way to the money system, how we have homeless people and only a few percent that's very wealthy, while others are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, even though both sides, whether you're wealthy or no, we're all made up of the same substance, which is called life, right? Now, the way I see it is, there's different dimensions to this world, but not in the sense that people are like, oh, we're going to the fourth dimension, we're going to the fifth dimension. Not that, because most people cannot even handle this third dimension that we're in. But there is other dimensions, and I've cross-referenced this a lot. I've known different people who, at least that's how I see it at this point, right? There's other beings in different dimensions and so forth. And at some point you were a part of those dimensions, and you saw how fucked up this world was. And deep down you made the decision to come here to change the system so that it can support life instead of support greed, evilness, and those of that nature. But when we were put on this earth, when our mother gave birth to us, we were put into an environment where has been very specifically designed within the system we live in, where our parents also got programmed to perpetuate the system further and to keep the system together. And so, as innocent babies, where we're the purest form of life, we start getting programmed by the system, initially by our parents, and then by movies, kids show. That's why now you see all these little kids with iPads, and on those iPads they're playing TV shows or cartoon shows like Cocomelon or any other kids show. I don't watch them, so I don't know. But whatever they are, I've seen even clips of them, and I see all the different things in there of why it's not best for the kids and how it's setting them up for failure and for lack of purpose in the future. And I went through the same thing. My parents went through it. Same with you, with your parents, and so on and so forth. I'm not fully clear on where it all first started. You have the stories in the Bible, you have different stories, but that's all they are, stories. No one knows for a fact. Now, you could be certain within a story, but that doesn't make it necessarily true. But to me, that's irrelevant. Figuring out that story doesn't help me in this life, right? What does help me is we forgot that we came here to actually change the system. But the way the system's designed, it's making it so that the chance of you being born in an upper class family becomes very, very small and smaller. And if you were to die, let's say tomorrow, it's like, can you even guarantee that you'll be even born in the family that you were born in? Which you think, like, if you have internet to even see this, you're in the top 30-40% or whatever the percentage is to even be fortunate enough to even have internet to watch this, right? There's so many people who don't even have internet, right? Where I grew up in Iran, I grew up without an internet. I don't know if we couldn't afford it or something, but my dad had to save money for 2 years just to buy me a regular computer. So with the internet in Iran, then you have to get VPN and all that stuff. I don't think we could afford it, because just from what my dad was making, we could barely afford the rent, which the rent was it wasn't a building, like it's just 2-3 stories, and we were on one of those stories. It was owned by one of the family members. We could barely even afford that. And in today's dollars, I mean, my dad was making, $15 or something. Based on the dollar back then, when we moved out of Iran, he was making maybe $70 or something. Like, not a lot of money, right? And so it's like we're put in a system where not only we forget who we were and why we came here, but on top of that, we're not even provided with the basic needs like food, water, shelter, to a point where you don't even have to think about it. We're not even provided with the basic needs to even survive. So we spend most of our life just in survival mode, and we die without having accomplished anything, which is very, very sad. But what I've come to understand is that fact of we wanted to come here to have that impact. You all know that you're here to have an impact. And many of you, it's like, you know what your potential is, but the reality shows you over and over that maybe your potential isn't what you thought it was, or that maybe you aren't meant to have that impact. Or when you try to have the impact, you fail over and over. And I mean, at least that's how I felt. Is I had this gift of being able to see other people's talents, gifts, potential, But at the same time, I could see that they were so depressed and drained that they were barely even alive. And it was very sad, very, very sad. And I would take on their depression. And as a kid, I didn't know I had this ability. I just thought that there's something wrong with me, that I'm somehow depressed and useless and that I don't deserve it. And I didn't realize that I was just picking up all that stuff from other people. So for a long time, I was like, why am I even here on the earth? I was questioning my existence. And I was believing that I'm just here and I'm just taking up oxygen. It would be better if I'm not here and I'm not alive, because I'm not having any impact anyway. And it's sad to think about it. I'm trying to not go into how I felt back then, because it's very hard. I'm trying to not let go into the emotions, but many people feel the same way I did. It's like you see your potential, you see potential in others. It doesn't matter how many times you try, you end up failing at the end. Now, I'm not sharing all this to just bring it up and you're like, oh, well, thanks, Mahyar, for reminding me how useless I am. Or you may say, like, I know I have potential, but I don't know what to do with it. And that's the part where, unfortunately, there's no one advice to give on the internet for everyone. That's where one-on-one is very crucial. Now, I cannot support everyone one-on-one, but what I was able to come across, I came across a technology, and the technology allowed me to not only learn things at a fast rate, but also by supporting others to use it, they were able to advance very quickly and unlock their potential, to a point now where the people I had supported to realize who they are, what their potential is, and actually achieving more using their potential, now they're going around and helping other people do the same. And I had never seen anything like that in my life, or thought anything like that was possible, because the people who already have money and are wealthy or well off, they're already good. They don't need to change, right? And even if you show them how they could help others change, they're not going to do anything, because they figured out a system for themselves based on their DNA and programming that they received from their grandparents and parents and everything combined. They're like, why would I give that up to help others? No, I want to make sure I'm good. And they go into full self-interest only. So the people who can actually have an impact are the ones that are either living paycheck to paycheck or right above the paycheck to paycheck, because they're the ones that care enough and are going through the struggles themselves, so they know if somehow they can change and become someone in this world, they will support everyone else to do the same. And that's what happened with me. I was able to get support, find the right mentors, be provided by the right tools to change, to then go and speak on stages in front of hundreds of people, and then supporting hundreds of people to then change and replicate that change for other people. Now, the reason I made this video is because I've had a lot of impact here locally, but I know there are people just like me all around the world that I'm not there physically to meet right now. So through this video, I'm hoping that there is someone else like me who felt the things I felt, of not knowing what to do, not you don't know what your role is here, or you thought you knew, but then you tried and it didn't go anywhere. And so you're not even sure what you're here to do anymore. And hopefully that is you, so you could reach out to me and I could take you down the same path I went through to unlock my potential and have more impact. And I was someone that I thought that nothing will come for me, like no success will come for me, just because anything I had tried, nothing had worked. Until literally one thing that changed my whole life. And through my research, it's the only way where real change is even possible. If you didn't get the pre-programming and the DNA to be one of the wealthy people in this world. So if that resonates with you, if you think that's you, then reach out to me. My Instagram, all that is in the bio. And the fact that even the idea to even make this video came to my mind, that means there's at least one person who thought of the question of there must be another way, or there must be a way. And my brain picked that up and made this video. So if that's you, reach out.